Mike,
Hey.
what's up, dude? How you
What's
doing?
going on, my man?
Oh, not much. Pretty excited. I'm just gonna throw it out there, bro. See this shirt? I ordered this shirt about it's probably been about 6 months, 8 months ago. And this is about like when I came through that whole broken leg scenario,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was eating way too much, and I got kind of fat. And then House likes to pick on me and say I'm fat. Well, tonight, dude, the shirt fits. That's all I'm saying. It's a little
Says,
snug, it's like a medium kind of thing going on here, but
shoot.
it does fit, and I'm pretty happy about that. So,
Says
House,
House, the
House
skinniest
is
guy in
gonna
the
have
house.
yeah, that's right. House is gonna have to lay it down, man. Look, Chris ain't fat no more. What's up with that?
The
Yep.
skinniest dude in the house, man, you know?
So I've been trying, man. I'm gonna sign up for a half marathon over here in October.
Nice.
And I've ran a marathon before, I've ran a half, so I know I can do it. But it's been like years since I've done it, and I want to do another one because I know I can. It'll help me drop a lot more weight, so I'm gonna kick it and go for it. I gotta have a goal, right? I gotta have a goal to shoot for. My wife, she's a big time runner. She runs all the time. She'll leave out the house, go run 10 miles, come back. Didn't even look like she broke a sweat. I can't do that. I have to have like I have to have something like on my plate, like I'm gonna shoot for that. And so I
Mhm.
signed up for a race. And I put it kind of far out because, like, October, that gives me a long time to prepare. So I'm taking it slow, because I don't want it to be one of them things where like you lose weight because you hit it in a month and then you gain it all back. So I'm taking my time. But this show ain't about losing weight, man. So anyway, put that out there. Anyway, I don't know. So here's what's up, man. I was thinking like, 2 nights ago, like what I want to talk about.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to talk about business a little bit. And I want to talk about businesses and transforming a business. Prime example. This is when it hit me. I was out teaching a class probably, well, it was last week. So here's the deal. I left my hometown, flew to go teach a class in Carolina. I got there at 1 in the morning, had to get up at 6, taught the class during the day, grabbed all my stuff, went back to the airport, got back home, went to bed that night at 1 in the morning. So 2 really radical days. It was like boom, boom, in and out, right?
Wow.
Super fast. And
I thought working for TEC was just sunshine and rainbows, man.
dude, yeah. I mean, looking out the window of the airplane is amazing.
Yeah, I love it, dude. I love
No,
flying,
it is.
man.
Look, it's a lot of fun. Sometimes it's go, 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 though. It's like no.
Yeah.
And man, let me tell you what, when you're about to speak to 50 people in a classroom and you haven't had but like 5 hours of sleep, and then you got to leave as soon as it's over and go back to the airport. Those are the days where like, man, it's go time, right? And you got to bring it.
Yeah, man.
So that was
Better you than me, man. Those South Carolina guys don't like my accent.
they were good people, man. And I was sitting there talking to them about duct leakage testing. I was kind of brought in to kind of talk about code compliance a little bit. And it was one of the funnest things I did because I basically taught them code, and then I changed the spiel to say, but let's be honest, who cares about code? Let's talk about why you'd want to do this. And man, I took them down the whole total heat formula, and I just went totally off script. And I was like, if we put this air conditioner outside and we just let it run, we're going to produce a whole lot of water because there's a whole lot of heat outside, right? We got a lot of load we can throw at that coil. And if we take that same air conditioner and we put it in this room that's conditioned, right, there's a good chance we're going to lower the amount of load that it's going to have to handle. All right. And I started relating that conversation to duct leakage because I was trying to conceptually have these guys and girls in the room be like, what is he getting at? And it's like, what I'm getting at is duct leakage, air going out and air coming in as infiltration is more load to the evaporator coil. And
Yeah.
I think I had some, I was getting some of this. I got you.
Oh, you're getting the slow. The
I was getting
slow.
like, yeah.
Oh.
And then
That's like the slow clap.
yeah, it was, here we go. Here we go.
You can do it.
So it was really good. And I basically told all those people this. I said, look, I can't teach you what you need to know to do in a couple hours. I said, but what I'm going to try to do is rock you out of your seat and encourage you to leave here and go, that guy's onto something. And I want more of what he's talking about.
Yeah.
That was the mission.
Get the gears going, right?
Exactly. But then I had a
Yeah.
thought when I left there and I said, how do these people leave a situation like that and go, I want to do that in my business?
I hear you, man.
It's
Yeah.
like, imagine the first time someone explains duct leakage and the impact of that to a home and infiltration. And then you want to go change your business. Dude, that's a mountain to climb, a mountain,
Yeah.
right? And I was kind of digging in with these guys, and their feedback's what started to get me thinking. They started asking me a million questions. They were like, well, what's a good number? Where should I stop? When should I do this? And I'm trying to give them as much feedback as I could. And what I was realizing is this is a mountain to climb for these people.
It
right?
is, man.
And what I'm getting at is we need to talk about how to onboard this. And let's say you have all these clientele. You've built a good business. Let's say you've got $1 million gross revenue or above, right? Decent, good size air conditioning company. But you've built your clientele and your good business clientele. I'm not saying you're not running a good business. You are. But let's say you step up your knowledge.
Right.
And you're at that point now where you're like, you know what? I want duct leakage testing to play a huge role in my business now because I understand the impacts of it, right? And I want it to make my jobs better.
Yeah.
But now you're going to go start changing the game. How do you onboard that, right? There needs to be more discussion around how do I, as a contractor, change my clientele. And I've got
I think a lot of contractors are afraid, man, because a lot of those systems they did, right?
Say what now?
A lot of those contractors, man, a lot of our HVAC friends that own companies in the group, in the grapevine, they own those duck jobs, so like, am I going to open up a can of worms? But in reality, man, you're going to make your customers so much more happier when they have low leakage.
There needs to be more discussion around how to baby step this into a business. And I'll tell you one thing that I try to say if I teach in a class is, and me and David Richardson said this when we were teaching like a month ago. We both said the same thing. We said, do not leave here and go change your business full scale overnight. Just don't do that. You are going to hate us and you're going to think those guys are full of crap and blah, 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 blah. No. Baby step. Go start with something. Pick something that interests you the most out of the discussion and then try to take that one thing and put it into practice.
Yeah.
And just keep on that until you conquer the one thing. And then, baby steps.
Duct leakage is huge, man. I did my buddy's house. He was having high electric bills. I did the system. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do the duct leakage test for free, bro.
Yeah.
And he's got 130 CFM duct leakage.
So I got to answer this question. Someone says, how do you prepare for 26 miles? All right. I got to go off script for a minute.
26 miles.
So the truth is you kind of don't. I mean, you can. Don't get me wrong. There's all kind of training regiments out there. So I'll speak on that for just a minute. I ran the Disney 20th Marathon about 10 years ago. This is like my 10-year anniversary. So maybe I'll pick a marathon and run it for my 10 years, But this is how I prepared. There is a book that my wife had that I can't remember the guy's name who wrote it, but it's a good book. And it actually has training plans in it for what you want to achieve for running a marathon. If you want to run a 3-hour and 30-minute marathon, there's a training plan. If you want to try to hit a 4-hour marathon, there's a training plan. And it tells you it doesn't really tell you what to eat. It tells you how to run. And it makes you run pretty much 6 out of 7 days. And not every day is like long distance. There's actually an art to this, believe it or not. Like some days you will run for like 2 miles really slow, and that's it. And it's like that's all that you want to do for the day. And then the next day it may say go sprint 6 miles. It's hard as you yeah, but well, by this time in the training plan, you're okay with it, right? You've
You
already
gotta pay me to do that, man. I'm not a runner. I'm a walker.
and then you know
find me in the mall walking around in air conditioning.
and then the next day it'll tell you, all right, we'll go run 10 miles, but run them very, very slow, almost at a crawl pace. And what you're doing is you're mixing your body up from a very slow walk, which builds endurance, to a very fast-paced run, which builds like impulse muscle reaction, right? And it sounds crazy and really weird, but if you stick with it, you will get way stronger, way faster than if you were to just go outside and run every day with no plan. Like the no plan move is not really going to work out for you. Like that's not how you prepare for a marathon.
I'd rather get back on keto, bro. That sounds horrible.
Okay.
No,
saying, man, somebody wanted to know. I might encourage somebody to take.
Yeah, no, I don't discourage running. If you could do it, do it. But Chris is 6'5". I don't know how he does it, man.
I don't know either, to be honest with you. Oh, I remember my wife told me I couldn't do it. So with sheer manpower, I told her, yes, I can. Watch me. And
sheer stubbornness.
Yeah. Basically, it was like a.
Would you say woman?
Yeah.
I'll do what I want.
Tell me what I can't do. I could. And that's how that went down.
All right, bro. Back to duck leakage.
All right. So here's what I would say.
You gotta reel them in.
All right. Here's something that went through my brain. We're in an interesting time right now of finances in this country. Now I'm not in the industry of selling equipment anymore as a contractor, but I'm just saying, when I did, one thing you always are paying attention to is the price of equipment. And usually it used to be kind of normal. You might get a 1% increase a year, 3%, maybe nothing, whatever. It's very normalized.
The good old days.
Right? Now, I'm not directly connected to it, but I pay attention to what's going on. And I know some brands have been 3-4 increases this year alone, which is radical. And you're always adjusting your books. Everybody else is doing it the same. And as a contractor, you may be thinking this is a pain. And yes, it is a pain. But there is a silver lining here from my perspective. And this is it. If everybody's making the financial changes just like you are, and it's not just our business, it's not just the HVAC business doing this, it's all businesses. They're radically dealing with inflation and what our government and everything, and all this is happening. It's chaos going on. This is a chance for a business to say, we're changing our process. We're changing our prices. We're changing this. So if your clientele was used to a certain price for what they got, you're going to change your price no matter what. You're going to have to up your price to deal with inflation and all the other stuff, and price of equipment, even price of maintenance, gas in the trucks. It's all changing. If you play in a new process and procedure in your business model, I'm basically saying this is an opportunity to change your business model and change your pricing with it without your clientele getting super upset with you. To say,
I like where you're going, man. I think it's an opportunity to focus more on efficiency, on maintenances, keeping coils clean, and just kind of having the homeowners focus more on, not as much as we did 10 years ago where they were everybody's pushing efficiency. Yeah. Not that crazy, but, more focus on maintenances, airflow being not high static. Why don't we just focus on more airflow issues,
Well, all I'm saying is the customer base right now is kind of, how you used to know what your competition was charging, right? Word gets around fast.
Yeah.
The prices are changing so fast that the clientele that we all have is changed. Like they can't keep up with it, right? If they're going to call and get quotes, they may be all over the place because prices are changing so fast,
That's
which
crazy.
is not what you want. But the silver lining is this is an opportunity to remold your business and kind of restructure your prices and change
Yeah.
your game. So if you're looking for that opportunity to say, man, I have invested in myself in training and I've learned how to do this and I learned how important it is. And I want to chase duck leakage problems now and start doing more duck work. And I know that's a sore subject because nobody wants to do more duck work. But let's be honest, you want your clients not to complain either. You want your
Yeah.
clients to not to complain. You want that more than you wanted, than to have to deal with duct work. Like you'll do the duct work to not have the complaint is what I'm getting at. So choose the lesser of two evils, be the better contractor, chase the duct leakage, remold your business while all this is going on. This is your opportunity to, in a sense, sneak it in and improve practices and chase it. That's my big takeaway today.
And how is it in your area, man? Because I can tell you, my area, a lot of guys that are HVAC contractors, big and small,
so
don't have duct leakage testers, man.
So here's what I'm going to say. I actually just learned something that I wasn't aware of, surprisingly, because I thought I would have kept up with this one. But I was talking with Dustin Cole on the phone earlier. I invited him to the show. He may jump on. He's cutting grass. I just got done cutting grass. That's the whole thing. But we were talking about it. And apparently he said last year it's now getting enforced. And maybe it just hasn't been enforced in my area, and that's why I don't know. But it's being enforced in his area that if you pull a permit on a retrofit,
wow,
you have to do a duct leakage test.
Hey, sounds good, man. Hey, I do. That's my part of my business, so I'm down with that.
That's really, really interesting. And I'm really curious to see if the adaptation of that or adoption of that starts to carry across our state. I haven't heard it happening over here, but if it does, man, that's going to be big. And it's going to fix a lot of problems. And a lot of people hate code and because like code is minimum, blah, blah, blah. I get all that. But I personally like a code book because frankly, there's still a lot of people who don't do work up to code.
Right.
So, code's going to keep, us to at least a minimum. And
and you got to start somewhere, right?
You got to start somewhere. And if this code is pushing people to do duct leakage on retrofit, I mean, this is a huge win by the code book that if it gets enforced. I mean, that's where code is winning for the homeowner.
Yeah, I got one to do tomorrow on a new wait, it's a retro. Yeah. It's almost like a 90% complete remodel. So I guess that's what you're getting at in Louisiana.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. And now here's the big concern. When you pull the permit, it's on a retrofit, full change out, indoor unit, outdoor unit.
Yeah.
So
yep.
I was thinking, me and Dustin were talking. I was like, how could you pencil whip this? And it's real easy after thinking about it.
Yeah.
Well, for one, you could just pencil whip the paperwork, right? I mean, you could be a dirtbag and pencil whip it all day long. Yes. But you could also pull another move where you don't get caught by the city. And this is how I would, like, if I wanted to play a dirty game, this is how I would do it.
Right.
So maybe there's an inspector out there who's listening to this and who's paying attention to the statement because I'm about to give the secret sauce if somebody wants to play the game the wrong way. I would pull the permit on the condenser, change the whole system, and then get the condenser inspected. Nobody's going to be none the wiser, and my homeowner's not going to know the difference between a condenser permit and a full system change out permit. They're going to be like, oh yeah, I got my job permitted. I'm happy about it. He did it right. And it's like, no, he didn't. He permitted the outdoor unit only.
In my state, you got to do a full AHRI complete matchup.
Okay.
Can't get away with that shit. So
you have to turn in when you're doing your permit, you have to turn in the AHRI number.
Yeah, we have to turn in AHRI matchup, and we're still doing some like webinar.
Are y'all chasing credits down there?
Um,
Like, and if
you
you're
mean on the load calc?
I'm just curious, like, who out there is capitalizing on energy credits? And like, you do a change out, you bump up the SEER rating for the sale, you push the energy credit to them based on equipment only. And I got to do some more research and digging into this.
Yeah.
Can't remember
we
who
do
I
that.
was talking to the other day, but he was telling me that he bumped up a situation to get a 2,000 credit for the homeowner. He went to two-stage equipment to do so.
Yeah, we get a good credit. Oh, no way. It's
Ladies,
about to go down.
Hello, everyone.
Look, he got stuff working.
Do what?
You got your camera working.
Yeah, second time's a charm.
Oh, we got a great going on.
I got a nasty echo on my side.
Oh no.
Let's see if we can work that out.
Oh yeah, even the comments are.
So what's going on?
Hold on, man. Let's get this echo out of here. Mike,
Can you have it maybe on YouTube?
I'm gonna pull you down.
TV?
Give me the hand when you're ready. I'll come back in. All right, I'll bring him back in when he gets that settled out.
Does he have like a TV playing on YouTube in the back? And like,
I don't know,
because that was a big one.
So while he works that out, let's see if I don't know. I was thinking about talking about the business practices thing, and I wanted to kind of go beyond duct leakage and then get into infiltration.
Yeah.
Like with changing your business model. But I guess what I'm saying is going back to staring at that classroom and people are just like, like, man, this is a lot. And I'm like, yes, it is a lot. Yes, it is going to change your business practice if you do this. But I guess what I'm saying is it's good to know the code. So they were under the 2009 code. So I dug up all the code rules and I didn't screenshot the IECC. I just rewrote it in simple layman terms. And I said, This is your code, 2009. This is what you have to do. And then I went to current code and there's a big difference. And I'm like, look, why would you want to do code minimum 2009 when this other code exists?
Right.
And we're pushing for this, we're pushing for higher codes for a reason, right? And
yeah,
if you haven't done the homework, you're going to ask yourself, well, what's the point? I don't want to push for more code. I don't want to push for more stringent code. Well, yeah, of course you don't. If you don't understand why the code is increasing, you're not going to want to do it because you're thinking somebody's just sitting on a hill somewhere saying, I'm going to make their job harder.
I don't get the mindset sometimes, man, because some of these guys, I mean, look at Corbett. You guys went to go see his duct work. That guy killed it. He's not an HVAC guy.
Yeah, nicely done.
I mean, it's nuts.
That's what I'm saying. It's like show them the code, but don't beat the code to death. Like say, hey, here's the code. There's a reason for it. Now let's talk about the impact of the leakage and focus on the impact of the leakage. That way, when they left, it was like, this is the impact if you don't seal it. I don't give a rat's ass what's up, what the code says.
Yeah. And I'm with you, man. I got to actually do this to the two companies that I consult with on a regular basis. I got to let them, I almost have to do a sales pitch to them. Like, hey man, let's talk about this, let's talk about duct leakage.
Yeah.
What's up, brother?
Did you get it going, Dustin, or what?
I think I may. How's this?
Yeah, I got no echo.
All right.
Fantastic. All right, so
it's good to see you, bro.
You too, yeah, man. How are you?
Good, man. Doing better now.
Yeah.
All right, Dustin. So here's the conversation, man. We're talking about codes. You were telling me about the code change in your area earlier today, and we were talking about it. And are you starting to see an uptick even from your competitors doing more duct leakage testing?
I'm not necessarily seeing an uptick. There is more chatter about it. I have received more phone calls for doing more testing for third party.
Yeah.
I can tell you that I've seen forms, but if I check the database, those people that are filling out the forms aren't certified to do duct testing.
Oh boy.
So
Would you look at that?
yeah, it's just it's wit. Like because there's no. All right, so I don't know how it is in everybody else's place, but to do duct testing in Louisiana, you go to your local governing website. So I'm in Calcasieu Parish, calcasieparish.org. Boom. Go in there. There's an area where you click on it, you download the sheet. That's it. You print it out, fill it out, hand it in, or in this case, you just email it in.
Wow.
So they release the form to anybody. It's not releasing the form to people who actually hold a license.
Yeah, that's the way it is here too. Like you could download the form and it's like a blank sheet. Is that kind of like what you guys got?
Are you telling me that they're letting anybody turn in a duct leakage test form?
Mm-hmm.
With no like BPI or anything?
Yeah, I mean you got to have a fucking excuse me.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, so there's an area right there where you write your certification number.
Right.
However, it's the certification number is just anything you want to make up.
Really? Okay. Geez.
I mean, think about it. Think about it. Like, all right, so if there's not a database for them to go off of, then what's to stop them? What's to stop them? Like in the state of Louisiana,
75309 BPI.
That's right. Right? That's right. So, like in the state of Louisiana, it all starts with LA-DET and then your number. So, and it's a 6-digit number or 8-digit number, something like that. Yeah. Just type in whatever the hell you want.
Dude, that sucks, man.
That's pencil whipping to another level.
Oh yeah, no, but that's what they do. Or they call the local guy. So there's a local guy, and he does have a certification number, and for $200, he'll fill out your form for you.
Get out of here! Seriously, you know,
I'm not lying. It's most people use them.
Damn. Wow.
He has never done a duct test.
Is he Italian?
Huh? No.
Damn Italians in the swamp, man.
Does he even have any gear?
He does have the gear. He has the gear. However, so I met up with him at a supply house, and I was asking him about it, and I was like, oh, like this is the easiest way to find out little things. It's like, okay, so I mean, you do duct testing. I've seen that come across. Do you prefer the TEC tape? Do you use tape guys? Who are you getting your tape from? Yeah. Or do you use the little plastic boots, or what are you doing?
Scotch tape. What do you got, buddy?
Yeah, and you watch them quiver because they don't have an answer. Yeah, and they don't have an answer because they ain't never.
That's like interrogating your kids. Yeah. It's like
this is what the number one thing they say is, well, my duct tester, it came with some of that blue tape, or it came with some of that clear tape.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've been testing since 2012, and you still have the same roll? Yeah. Impressive,
bro. Yeah. Maybe he uses cardboard and a little bit of masking tape. I don't know, man.
I mean, not judging. Just
he's a frugal taper.
Picasso, man. Maybe he does
right. He's like
cardboard and painter's tape. Yeah.
Right.
Dude, I hear you though. That's killer information you're asking right there, bro. That's
the easiest way. Like
that's fugazi.
I had one. I was scheduled to do a duct test on a 3-system home. And the guy was in a rush. They were trying to close on the house before the interest went up on home loans. So he was panicking. I was scheduled for Monday or Tuesday. He had somebody come out Monday. I know the contractor that came out Monday, and I know his head tech. And they are not. They are the status quo or slightly under. We'll call it. We'll be nice on that.
Nicely put.
And so I asked the head tech, because I got a cell phone number and all that. I call him. I'm like, hey, man. I was like, I see you guys went and did that duct test. He's like, oh, yeah. I did hear something about that. He doesn't know what I'm talking about. And I said, hey, look, I've got a bunch of friends in the industry. I've got friends that play on both sides. I got friends with the 2 manufacturers. I said, and they like to hear feedback on who's using their equipment.
Yeah, how's the equipment going? Is it
and what
good
is
for you?
the well that and what is their market share in your local area? He's like, oh yeah. I was like, yeah. I was like, so if you don't mind me asking, which one are you using? He goes, man, I don't know the name of it. I said, well, it's real simple. I said, are you using the black one, the yellow one, or the red one? And he said, I think it's the red one. I said, yeah, okay, all right, cool. Good to know. There's no red one.
Oh.
They don't make it. So
dude, that's crazy, man.
Like right there,
dude,
like
I feel like I'm getting the same thing. If I'm like I'm really like pushing these people to seal this ductwork up on new construction, and I feel like these contractors are like, I'm not calling this guy back. You know,
right.
he's not pencil whipping it, and it kills me, dude. I'm trying to not do any of that.
So what I found for some of the contractors that I do, because I do have some contractors that it's not every job. It's just I do have repeat business with them. It's mainly whenever they get busted. However, after they fail about the second or third time,
yeah,
and have to pay you per test, and you get them out there and you work with them and you tell them, like, you stop saying things like, well, yeah, we're doing all this for code. Man, shit on code. We're not doing this for code.
Yeah,
right.
That's the, like, who gets excited because they're doing something for code? No one.
Yeah, nobody.
Hey, man, we're doing this because it is so impactful.
Jerry.
What up, Jerry?
Crusade is in the house.
We're doing this because it's so impactful to equipment performance. To
Allspice, baby.
Yeah, we're doing it for equipment performance. We're doing it for indoor air quality. We're doing it for I mean, just run it down the gamut of all the pluses.
I gotta pause you right there. I gotta pause you. Those are some high points, man. So like this, we're gonna circle this conversation back because I want you to give your spiel at some point about how you turned your business upside down. Because let's be honest, man, we all didn't start just doing this. Everybody who's watching this are probably like, man, these guys that, you know, like if you think we started off in I was in a family business. Dustin, you're in a family business.
Mm-hmm.
If you think we started off doing duct leakage testing on every job and trying to chase the home performance and make everything perfect, no, you're dead wrong. Hack.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, I don't want to come off like that either. Yeah.
I hacked a many of jobs.
Oh yeah. I can take you to them.
You know, I can take you to them too. Yeah. And then you learn and you get better and you change your business.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to figure out how to change your business when you learn. You know, how's that saying go? If you don't know what you're doing wrong and you do it, it's kind of okay. Mm-hmm. But when you know what you're doing wrong and then you don't change it, that's not okay. I probably butchered that. But
no. It is. It's ignorance is bliss, and whenever you know that you're doing it wrong, I don't fault people for not knowing.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. All right. I fault people for knowing and choosing not to do it.
Yeah, and still pencil whipping it. Yeah,
that's what makes you the dirtbag of the industry. When you know that and then you do it. That's the answer we're basically saying. But so Dustin, I gotta ask you. I'm putting you on the spot. How did you change your business model when you had your aha moment? You know, and you figured out like, man, I got to do this. You know, how did you change your business? Was there an opportunity that showed itself, and you're like, oh, this is my chance to add this to this quote, or I need, did it start with problematic houses? Did it start with code compliance and you worked it in? Like, which direction did you go to get it part of your cycle?
So it was just after the 2009 code. We all went into a meeting and they were telling us about the things to come. And so right then and there, I ordered the equipment that was readily available from that distributor and got it in. Talked with all the guys, told them all this is what's happening. And then nobody gave a shit because it doesn't hurt them. It's just, okay, it's another thing we have to do. It's another box I have to check. And then even at that point, I still didn't fully understand why we were going to be doing it. I got called into a home to test it because they learned that I had the equipment. And I found just tremendous leakage. And we solved it. And it was because I had measured the actual performance at that point. I was curious, what is the end goal? And so I had measured the before and after delivered capacity, and I was shocked.
Yeah.
And so
we were talking about that earlier, man. It's amazing. And how much that suction line comes up too, bro.
Right. Yeah. So I did that and I said, oh my goodness, this matters. And so that kind of inspired me to do more with it. And then as I started testing our work where I thought we were good, I was like, man, we're top tier. And then I tested our work and I was like, man, we suck. And then I tested other people's work and I was like, they should just close their doors. We don't suck as bad anymore, but then we started testing ours. And then I started finding that we were consistently, after just a small change in process, we were consistently hitting 3% or less duct leakage.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't that difficult.
Yeah. It doesn't take that much training, man. I mean, come on, bro. Just decent practices.
And you got to figure most people sling flex, which is super simple to get airtight because you only got to worry about 2 connections. That's simple.
What I find on my new construction houses, man, it's always the return box inside the house, outside the house. It's a freaking leaker, man. It's amazing.
So curious on yours because you're Florida market. Their return box, it's a unit sitting on a box, framed in. Are they drywalling the interior of the box?
Usually we do like a plywood, and the inside is just like they take the fiberglass sheet and just turn it inside out, and then they just mud it up. What I find is they just put the sheets in there, tape it, and they're not done all the way to the top of the plywood.
So
around the whole plywood.
Anybody wants to know, those are new service calls coming into Dustin from this show. People are watching it and going like, holy moly, I better get my duct leakage tested. So
what the hell I'm going to mute this.
So here's what I'm going to say. Something I've learned recently from doing some more testing. You know what? I don't know if I could say that because that's like privileged knowledge.
I love hearing that ringer in the symposium when it's quiet as shit. And I go, oh, Dustin's in here.
So
here's what I'll say. Have you ever tested the duct leakage on a return air grill mounted in a sheetrock ceiling?
Yes. You're talking about not just the grill, but the grill to unit connection. Yes.
No,
isolated.
I'm talking about the return air. Here's what I'm getting at.
Filter. What do you mean by that? With the duct test?
I'm talking about filter bypass.
Oh,
like the grill. And I know not a ton of people do this, but here's what I'm saying. When you take a grill and you smash it to the ceiling and you screw it into the wood, right? Yeah. You've got your wood framed in, you cut the sheetrock out, yada, yada. You mount your grill and you screw it in. It's nice and tight to the ceiling. And then you got, your grill hanging in there. You put your filter in, yada, yada.
Mm-hmm.
There can be some leakage, man, around that grill, right at the ceiling, if that grill doesn't get like mopped in.
Dude, every time I do a maintenance and I look around where you should be putting caulk, there's like always that like dust going like around where the little levers are.
Yeah,
all the time. It's crazy.
So depending on the application, I either use caulk, mastic, or tape, and I tape the surface of the drywall to the inside of the duct flange, and then put my grill on. And then because we're weird, especially on some of our high-end homes, I'll take some cheap Alex Plus. You're welcome for the throw out there, DAP. Acrylic silicone white caulk, and I'll caulk around the outside of the grill as well.
Do you when you bring your plenum down, I don't know if you do insulated, uninsulated, wrapped on the outside, but like, do you bring I'm assuming you do this, is why I'm throwing it out there. When you have an insulated plenum, like 24 by 24 with a grill, do you come all the way down, like to where you're like almost flush with the ceiling and then put the grill into it? Or do you stop like 2 inches short, put your grill in, then screw it, and you have just a little bit of wood exposed? Like, how do you do it?
All the way through.
You go all the way down. So your insulation tucks inside your grill.
Yes, or in many cases, we have to trim 1 3/4 or something like that
of the insulation. That way you can get into and you're saying you caulk inside the grill where that's hitting home.
So I have done that. I have caulked the inside of the grill, but so long as the sealing penetration is sealed, now it's just the grill. And so if I put the grill in, the only leakage point on the grill is the actual metal face to the drywall. And so I'll come in with white silicone and go across, or acrylic silicone.
You caulk the grill into the ceiling?
Yes.
Dang.
Hell yeah, that's what I was talking about.
And because it's sexy, because whenever you walk over there to it, a lot of jobs you look up and let's face it, craftsmanship has taken a seat for a while. And so you get a lot of wavy ceilings and stuff like that. And you got this nice aluminum fixed bar grill and you mount it up there and you get that nice gap because the ceiling's wavy.
Yeah.
So I seal it up and now it makes the other guy's job look like he did a better job too.
Yeah. And then you don't have that,
you do that
bypass,
I got to ask, I have personally never caulked in a return grill from the outside like that. I would do all my work, from the inside. Man, you haven't had any complaints from the painters? Like you're doing that pre-paint, like before the paint hits the walls?
Usually we're in there after they paint.
Yeah, we come in after they paint.
So you're basically saying, hey, I'm gonna caulk this in, but you're gonna have to touch it up on your second go round on the paint.
Dustin's not asking nobody. He's just doing what he does, baby. Come on.
So I come around and I caulk it in, but we do such a clean line that it's a solid line.
Yeah, real skinny.
You're taking the time to Picasso that thing really clean.
Yeah.
Trim it.
He's DMF Cole, baby. Come on.
That's right.
That's all right. If you listened to my spiel earlier, if you want to go there, great. But
yeah, you don't have to do this.
You don't have to. That's going to a whole nother level. I'm just saying, I don't want to freak people out on changing their game.
The whole reason that I started caulking grills is because whenever I started doing duct testing, I was using a particular tape that was exceptionally adhesive. And if I touched the ceiling with it, it would peel the paint.
Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. And
so I started caulking around the grill and then just duct masking the grill face.
Right. Just getting right to the face.
And so because after I repainted the first two ceilings, I decided that this was too much risk.
Yeah.
And then also whenever I caulked
don't leave
around
me, Dustin. Don't do it.
Once I caulked around the first grill, the customer and the contractor and all that, they're walking in, they're like, holy shit, I've never seen somebody put that kind of effort into it. And what they didn't realize is I'm doing this
for you
to protect me.
Yeah.
And so it made me look like I was taking, leaps and bounds greater than anybody else.
Yeah.
For attention to detail. But in reality, I'm doing it so I don't peel the damn ceiling apart.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you on that, man. Dude, I was doing a duct leakage test last week. You got the vent cap system.
I have no affiliation with this company whatsoever, but I bought.
That's what I got, bro.
And these things are slick, man. And like duct leakage testing, pull the pin.
If he's out here listening out there,
these things are sweet.
If the inventor of that is out there listening anywheres, in my market, there's a lot of 12 by whatever grills.
And
the
square ones?
Yeah. So if he could make a cap that fit over a 12 by 6, 12 by 8, 12 by 12 grill.
Somebody in the grapevine said he spoke to the owner.
Wait a minute. This will fit over. So this will fit over a 6 by 12 grill.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. I did it in my house like a couple weeks ago. And this one will absolutely fit. And
is that the return box one?
No. This is it's about 14 by 10. This is a nice size box.
Okay. All right.
Dude, listen, don't get me wrong. Dude, I love them. I'm going to use them tomorrow. But
in that case,
in this double size, I think he's got one that's like a square box now.
See, I would, if he made one that was 14 by 14.
He's working on it. Yeah.
Then I would buy a tremendous amount of those and use them on every grill that I came to. But having to buy one that's 14 by 10, that limits me to a 12 by 8 grill.
Dude, he's in the grapevine. So if this guy watches it, that's in the grapevine, put a link.
I'm digging, man.
Or maybe it was HVAC School Group. I don't know. I'm gonna do some digging, man.
It might be over there in the overtime group. I remember seeing something.
I can't keep the groups freaking straight, bro.
Yeah, or he might be in the Kings group. It's hard to say.
Yeah. So he actually just brought it up. Somebody brought it up like a week ago, and they were like, the owner's working on fixing that problem because I run into it all the time too, bro.
Oh, I wrote him a letter about it, but
oh, bro, maybe that guy you were talking to that pencil whips all the duct leakage jobs. Maybe he's got those vent caps.
He might. Yeah. That's why he doesn't use tape.
That's why he doesn't use tape.
Right. Sure. Yeah, I get it.
Sure.
So the large vent cap is 16.5 inches square.
Okay. So, but like in my market, I would have to have nothing but those because the average grill is 12 by 6, 12 by 8, 12 by 12, or 10 by 10, 10 by 6.
The standard ones that I just showed you that come in a total home pack is what he calls them. Looking for the size. I'm just trying to glance to see what the size is, but
I got 2 boxes of them. So whatever that is.
Oh, it's 10 inch by 16 inch inside the gasket.
Yeah, no way.
It'll fit the 6 by 12.
It just barely touches the.
I know that because I've used them on 6 by 12 grills quite a few times.
But anyway, I was using those on a job on the beach side and really having a hard time passing this duct job, man. And I went up in the attic. I figured I'd help him out. I pulled open the fresh air intake. It was just a manual dampener stuck into the return box, right? I took that friggin' thing off, put some tape on there. I'm running the duct tester, and I'm like, damn, there's a lot of leakage, man. So I just got it to pass, dude. I taped up everything on the air handler, right? And I go back a week later, right? And the homeowner's there. I was like, here, I'm here to do the second blower door. I didn't tell her it failed, but it failed that time when I was doing the duct leakage test. So she's like, well, do you want a drink? You want a soda or anything? I was like, I'll take a water. And she goes into this freaking, she's got a fake pantry door and opens up this secret room. And I look up in there and there's a freaking 4-inch vent, bro. So I ran the whole duct leakage test.
With one grill not covered?
With one grill not covered.
So I've gotten pretty good at finding safe rooms.
Bro, just tell me you got safe room on the plans, bro. Give me a heads up. I told the contractor. I was like, you got a safe room? Let me know, bro. I'm not doing none of the Scooby-Doo shit running around the house. I was so mad, bro, because I did a lot of extra work for them because they're a good client of mine, and I go a little above an extra. I went in the attic, took a look at a couple of mixes.
Drops, man. You got to go in the attic and be like, okay, I got 13. I got to seal 13.
14-foot ceilings, bro. I'm up in the attic with the spider monkey, freaking flex. Yeah, it's a mess up there, bro.
I read layouts of homes so well. I'm like, no, something's not adding up.
Yeah. No, I hear you, man.
That one drop, man, and you could probably look at, if you've done it a few times, you could look at that install, and when you pull that duct leakage test, you're getting a high number. You're starting to think,
I feel like an idiot. Don't get me wrong, but I figure, hey, we're all human, right?
So I got to ask you, Dustin. So, well, let me say this. This is comical because, I work for TEC, but I got into duct leakage testing and infiltration testing because of code.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how it worked out. It's the same time because we're in the same state, probably hit us both at the same time. It's kind of funny because you're getting hit at the same time I'm getting hit. And there was only specific people. Me and you were probably one and the same. I see an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And when code compliance is coming, pushing down our throat, I literally said, I see a business model here. And I told my dad, I said, I see a way to make some money. This is going to be good for us. And I wanted to do quality work, but I didn't understand the reason why. And I said, you know what? Everybody's going to not want to go buy this equipment. I had a bunch, just like you had friends in the air conditioner business all over. And I said, hey, I'm going to go buy the gear, go to BPI, take the training. I was like, and then I'm going to go pass a car or call all my friends. I didn't want to go chase everybody. I just chased the guys that I knew who did pretty good work. And I was like, I'm just going to go test their jobs. And so I did all that. It took about, probably about a month's time, get all that under control. And then I started calling everybody and said, hey, look, man, did you hear about this code change? And without missing a beat, they're on the phone. They're like, yeah, man, this is a BS. And I'm like, dude, I hear you. But look, I just want you to know I bought the gear, and I got you. If you need me, I got you. Got your back. And they're like, for real? And I'm like, for real. I mean, I got to charge you. I got to pay for this stuff that I just bought. And it wasn't
like, you don't have me, bro.
And I'm just telling them, like, dude, I just dropped a few grand on this gear. Like, I need to pay for it.
Yeah.
And I figured I could, if I do some tests for you, I'll help get it paid for. I'll get us through this. And they were just like, man, that's awesome. And I'm like, it is. I'm like, so hit me up. And here's what I'll say. You go in and you can appreciate this if you did some code compliance testing. When you walk into a house and you got 2 duct leakage tests and an infiltration test in the same day on the same house, and that's 3 tests, you're about to make some money.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So anybody who's out there saying, oh, you don't make any money doing that, here's what I'm going to tell you. I could walk in a house, get paid with a check, leaving a house for over $1,000, and I probably wasn't in there all day. I might have been in there 5 hours, and I've used tape.
Mm-hmm.
That is all of my expendables for that job.
That's a good point.
Here's something I would say. I didn't sell it cheap. I didn't go in super, super cheap when I did it. I was higher than the next guy, but I did get hired to do it because they, I guess I had a relationship with them. But I also told them this. I said, look, if you're missing the mark by a little bit, I'll clean up the job for you. Don't worry about it. And they were like, what? And I did. If they miss something, I just fix it. Because
that's kind of like what I do on some jobs.
I'm making good money to go in there. I've got nothing but a little bit of tape and now maybe a little bit of mastic. Mm-hmm. And so
if the guy silver tape, bro, come on, no big deal.
If I'm in the job and you've seen the returns where you paint it, but let's say you got 1/4 inch screws everywhere and there's a buckle in it, and let's just say you got that buckle and it's leaking. Come on, man. Is it worth dragging that dude back out and saying, hey, you got to fix that because you're failing? No, just fix it and move on. You're there. You have a truck full of stuff.
But how do you pitch it to guys that don't do new construction, though? That's what I want to know.
The retrofit market? Well,
just like changing
it, yeah, I mean, if they pull a permit, then they're aware that they have to do it, and they're either pencil whipping or they need somebody. And you just got to be the guy, but you got to be nice. You don't throw them underneath the bus.
Right.
You don't you don't go, oh yeah, I'm here to do this test, and good gosh, if you would have just hired my company, you wouldn't be having these problems. No, you shut up. You go, okay, in fact, if I'm doing one for another contractor, I don't tell the homeowner pass or fail or anything.
Yep.
I just tell them, okay, look, I'm all finished up here. I'm gonna get with
advice, man.
I'm gonna get with Jimmy and
professional courtesy, man. I'm working for him. He paid me to do it. Sorry,
and they'll ask you, well, I mean, did I pass? Did I fail? Well, I'm gonna get with Jimmy. Jimmy's gonna let you know everything.
It's interesting you say that. Commercial, you get that a lot. Many times I've done work for other mechanical contractors on commercial buildings and different things. And in that world, the client is very much like, hey, what'd you find? Hey, what's the status on that? And I'm like, I can't tell you. That's really difficult because this is one thing I would say commercial mechanics have to kind of learn that residential mechanics probably don't, is you got to learn when you can't say anything, right?
Yeah.
And that's a really hard thing to kind of understand.
It's a relationship, bro.
When you're in commercial, you never know what the boss has made as a business deal. You may not be working for the owner of that building right now. You may be working for the mechanical contractor who has the contract on that building right now. You may be working for the property manager of that building right now. Who knows? And you can never, and a lot of clients get super mad when a commercial tech tells them when they're leasing a space for, I don't know, I could think of a client that comes to mind who was dropping, I know every bit of $60,000 a month on a two buildings side by side that were full of glass, 6-story building. We're talking a lot of rent money, right?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
there was issues with the building, and I remember the property manager didn't want us talking to the client at all about anything on the building. So I had a huge talk with my team, and I got grilled one day by the guy who was probably writing the check for this, rental. And he's like, man, he goes, we've had problems. What is the deal with the building today? Blah, blah, blah. And he kept going on and on. I said, look, I'm sorry. I'm like, I can't, but the property manager doesn't want me to say, hey, I can't tell you because they told me not to. But basically they're saying, don't say anything because we're not going to be happy if you do. That's a really tough spot to be in. And this goes back to,
it happens, man.
More than just having to do your job. Now you have to decide, what do I say? What do I not say? Can I say something that gets this dude off my back and I could go back to work and make, the decision be good for both parties? And that's when you get really good at delivering very soft messages.
Oh yeah. I'll tell.
Like, hey, what we have is a little bit odd. Maybe it could have been a lightning strike. I don't know. But here's the answer. I'm gonna have it back up and running real soon for you. No big deal. Don't worry.
You gotta be like a little politician, baby.
You do.
But what I want to know is, how was the duct leakage on that bad boy right there?
Well, I don't know what the exact number was, but I'm going to say that it was pretty tight.
I'm so jealous, bro. So jealous. Okay, you got to see the science experiment, the documented science experiment, man.
For sure, man. I know Chris does a lot of work in restaurants and stuff, and I'm sure they're owned by chains, and you've got people who lease and whatnot, and it's difficult.
Yeah, commercial stuff, man.
That's so there's always riffraff between commercial and residential. So I thought I'd throw a bone out there for
I know. I mean,
commercial guys,
rental properties.
They get more time on a job, but it doesn't mean they don't deal with some BS, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's some BS there too.
Oh yeah. Whenever I go do, because we do small commercial buildings, when I do those or rental properties or any of that, it's always the tenant that I need to know. And they have, in most cases, they don't have any stake in the game. They're not hiring me. They're not paying for the repairs, nothing like that. Now on the commercial side, it's a little bit different because you got triple net leasing and they're paying that bill. But keeping them happy and keeping them from calling the building owner and complaining because they're having issues and nobody will tell them what's going on. It's a fine line to draw, but I'll tell you that telling them things like, well, we just completed diagnosing everything and we're going to work with the owner to get your problems resolved. Well, what is my problem? So, well, I mean, there's a lot going on, and everything's pending. You just keep on rolling back to that, like.
Just
I'm not answering you.
Who's writing the check today? That's it, man. Because I was also my job when I was younger, man.
But I have actually gained several jobs because I would tell them things like, I will follow up with the landlord or the owner or whatever the case may be, and we're going to work to do our best to resolve your issue.
Yeah.
And then a day or two goes by, they saw your company name.
Yeah.
They know who you are. They call you and they're like, hey, I'm still waiting to hear back. And I'm like, well, unfortunately, so are we. And they say something to the extent of, what is it going to take to solve this problem? And it's like, well, I'm working for them. If you would like to hire us to do this job, I could work with you as well. And
that's it there, man.
I've had renters pay me.
Yeah.
And then fight with their landlord or whatever the case, that's a fine line too, because you don't want to kill contracts. But if you've got
what do you mean? You telling me the landlord's not going to be happy if they pay for it?
Well, because in many cases
you'll make a lot of people happy that way.
Right.
Like your example you did the other day where the guy had a huge allergy problem or something like that, and you had to insulate the whole air handler with Rubitex.
Oh yeah.
With what?
Rubitex.
Yeah.
With like foam board tape. Isn't it called Rubitex? I think that's what it's
called.
Well,
it's Armaflex.
Well, yeah. What am I thinking?
That's the one what Rick Sims was talking about, right?
Oh, I don't know.
He was saying line the whole air handler with this rubber type deal.
Yeah, I mean it's a closed cell foam pad. It's the same thing that your pipe insulation is made out of.
Right.
But you can buy it in sheets, and you can choose from 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, yada yada.
Yeah.
And
remember we were taking that class with Rick Sims. It was condensation or
what's that? Conduxation.
Conduxation. Yeah, he was talking about dew point hitting the cabinet and everything.
Yeah. So he was a tenant, and he had he had just gotten done with his leukemia treatments, and he was going home, and his doctor was concerned about the air quality, and they needed somebody to go out there and check it. So I went out there and checked it, and I mean it was your status quo, full of all kinds of caca. And as a result, primarily from return air duct leakage. And so it made it worse because the undersized return and undersized filter created a greater draw on the
lot more pull. Yeah.
So anyhow, I wrote up a proposal to resolve the issue, and he submitted it to his landlord, and his landlord said, "That is your problem, not my problem, because the air conditioner is working properly."
That sucks, man.
And so he paid me, and I went out there, and I tried to convince him just change the whole air handler out, because I would have been in and out in a much shorter time period.
Yeah.
But it was like $600 more or something like that. And he said, wow. "I'm already doing all this, and I don't plan on being here for another year, and I'm not giving that asshole a new unit."
Yeah.
So
did you do a pull and clean or a clean?
I do a pull and clean. I yanked that whole thing out of the closet. I took every component out of it, gutted the insulation from it, sanitized it, glued Armaflex in the cabinet.
You're nice.
Yeah, that's the biggest pull and clean I've ever heard of.
This is what I would have done in that situation. And I've had let me tell you what, as much as sometimes I'll pick on distributors, I've had some good distributors I've worked with over my career.
Yeah, it's Ham 9, baby.
Here's what I would do. If I'm a $600 split between that situation, and don't get me wrong, you did the right thing. That's an awesome move. Here's what businessman Chris would have done. I would have called my distributor and said, "Hey guys, I need you guys to kick in on this. We need to make this right for this guy."
That's a big move, man.
And look, it's the right thing to do. Distributors, I mean, I'm not saying they're rich, but they can make moves, right?
Well, you got a good relationship with your distributor.
You got a good relationship, and you're basically saying, "Hey, we need to do this for the right reasons." Yeah, break off.
No, and I thought about that. I mean, like, dude, whenever I got there and saw the extent of work that I was getting myself into, I brought it back up to him. I was like, it really wasn't that much more. And then I started weighing it all out, and I was like, all right, if I do this and I eat it, how much money will I lose today? How much money will I make? Is it beneficial to do it? Because I'll finish up early, and then I'll go pull another job somewhere else. And it was part of me was doing it just because out of principle, because I'd given the guy the options. Yeah. And the other was my helper had never even fathomed doing something like this.
Oh yeah, dude, that I was about to say, this is like Dustin Cole saying, "I want to challenge myself." Let's be honest, this is one of the, and I'm guilty of that. I'm gonna tell you right now, I have signed us up for jobs in the past. And me and my brother actually had a huge argument one day. He's like, "Why do we have to do this?" And I'm like, "Think of what we're going to learn." And he goes, we have literally fought tooth and nail because I've tried to push the envelope. And, and he's like, "This was ridiculous." I'm like, "Yeah, it was. I agree with you. It was." I'm like, "But man, isn't it fascinating?" I'm like, "To see the job done?" And he's like, "No. This was ridiculous." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, well, I enjoyed it."
Well, and I'm guilty of that on more times than I can count, just pushing the envelope to the extreme just to go, "All right, cool."
Yeah. Check that off.
Take it to the limit, baby.
That's right.
That's hey, we're the 2%, right? That's what they keep on telling us.
I have the opportunity to be first, right? If someone goes, "Nobody's done that," I'm like, "Ooh."
Right. Yeah. I mean, you got to figure, like, I do some stupid stuff that doesn't necessarily always is not great business. Like I was sealing up ductwork on his like 3,000 plus square foot home, and I kept on poking at Neil Comparetto, and I was like,
where has Neil Comparetto been?
It was his birthday Monday or something like that.
Yeah, I got a notification, bro.
Yeah,
let's just fly to his house and just like show
just
up.
bombard him.
Yeah,
but I was in this little it was a friendly little like poke at each other constantly, like because he was doing all the duct tightness videos, and I was like, hey man, coming for you. I'm gonna take you down a notch. And so I'm sending him pictures of this job, and he's like, I gotta admit, I'm a little scared. And I was like, well, you should be.
Neil's
and then I tested it out. I tested it out, and it was something like 19 or 20 CFM, 25 total leakage. And I was like, boom, gotcha. And he's like, no, you don't. And he responds back with the one he has, and I'm like, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, bro. I was like sick. That was like 4 years ago. I go, Neil, I did my house. It's got 60 CFM. He's like, it's not that great.
So I was so aggravated by it. So I had the option. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go get my smoke machine, and I'm gonna smoke everything. I'm gonna find it, and I'm gonna seal it up. And then I was looking at how much time I had already invested into this job, and I was like, you know what? I haven't insulated it yet. It was all sheet metal.
Well, this is a good lesson to learn for people listening. So, because we're talking about how to roll this in your business, but then there comes a point where you're like, okay, am I taking this to the extreme? And if you're listening, and the whole story of today's lesson is how to make this part of your business. But there comes a point where like you got to know when the juice is worth the squeeze. Did you do enough solid?
When to pull it back.
Sorry, I just want to say that, but please continue.
Not everybody can be Doug Kroll, right?
Right. So my competitiveness got the best of me, and I was sitting there with all the rolls of duct insulation ready to insulate this ductwork, and I'm looking at that number, and it's pissing me off. So I loaded up all of that, called Mike Robinson, bought a CPS D2 machine in foam, went and got it for Easter. It was like right around the Easter time. Drove back over there, and I closed cell foamed the entire duct system.
Hell yeah, baby.
And whenever I got done, I went because we had already kind of extended out this guy's deadline. This is what sucks about it the most. So whenever I got done, I didn't have the time to retest it. So I don't know if I actually beat it or not.
Man. Oh, dude, you tell me that whole story what?
Do you know how much my pride cost me on that one?
Oh man!
I mean,
like $600, right?
I think
sure, $600.
600 for that kit.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. I think I ended up coming out of pocket over $3,000.
Holy schmazzoli!
Over what I quoted.
You got to find helpers from church, bro.
But you've also got that spray foam kit now you can use.
That's right. Yeah. And it's made me money. It's a fantastic way. You don't have to duct seal. You don't have to do anything.
Bro, I thought you meant you bought the froth pack.
So no.
You bought
Jason Julian that thing.
What?
Yeah.
All right, so I gotta ask you a question, man. I know we're over time, but here's what I want to say. Let's do some leaving good principles.
We're not over time.
If you were going to encourage somebody to get into like duct leakage testing and infiltration like going down the home performance road, right? It probably looks overwhelming to a lot. That we've talked about the compliance route, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my take on it, and what I was trying to throw down earlier is, which I like this, the silver lining of the way the industry is going with price changing and everything. This is an easy opportunity to say, oh, this is what we're doing now, and this is why our price is this, blah, blah, blah. But do you have anything beyond that you would recommend to someone to say, this is a good way to change your business? Like you've got a name in the industry. You're known for what you do. And let's say you want to change it because you've chased all this education. You're like, man, I have to start doing this now. How do you do it? Any good tips that you guys want to leave the audience before we get out?
Dude, I just had something like just come to my brain like, hey, man, Sit down with your local contractors, and if they do a duct renovation, why don't you just offer your customer 3 quotes? The regular cheesy repair, the replacement, and then a replacement with a duct leakage test. It's code for new construction, but
so you give a code and a performance path.
Right. I should probably, I think I'm going to call my buddies tomorrow. Throw that right at them.
Well, so I guess just to
circle. I'm talking residential, just like replacement,
So I think Chris was saying, like, what advice do we have to another contractor that's trying to get into this and like make the steps and make it worthwhile? I would say this. So once you start doing it, you are going to find that as you tighten up your duct system, you are going to require less cooling. And as you require less cooling, you'll have smaller equipment delivering lower electrical consumption, providing superior comfort for your clients. So you're going to be doing some very unique things that others are not doing, and you're going to be thinking outside of that standard process and just grab that bag of duck and run with it. And so you're going to start delivering these higher performing jobs. And in the beginning, it may feel like there's not enough money in it, or it may feel like it's too much work versus reward. But just if you can push yourself through that point, you'll establish yourself in the marketplace as being the best person to call on, because you are delivering results that no one else can achieve. And the only reason you are is because you're testing.
Exactly.
And then because of you doing that, and because you're going down this path, you're going to learn all kinds of little quirky things along the way. And so as you go to different jobs and you see a dirty evaporator coil and we're going to do a pull and clean, well, I would call you a fool if you do a pull and clean and only do a pull and clean, because why the hell did it get dirty in the first place? This is an opportunity for duct sealing. This is an opportunity for a duct leakage test if you want to prove it. And so now you can start selling your duct leakage testing whenever you go and do a basic service and you observe different conditions. You can say, hey, I would suspect that you have substantial duct leakage. We can just try and target it and just use our hands, feel around, or we can just run a test and see, do we need to take a step further?
Yeah, so Measure Quick has that duct leakage screening test, man, which is cool.
And I want to leave one extra thing at the end of that, okay? Not every job in your whole company career is going to be a money-making job, and that's okay. When you do this, it's not just you as like the owner or service manager who does this. You're never going to get this to adopt if you don't get the team on board. And in my opinion, to get the team on board might take one at a time. Take them, every time you finish a rough in or retrofit, bring that guy who's curious, bring the next guy who's curious. If you're going to lose money on that job to show them what you're trying to achieve and get them intrigued, then that's what it takes, because the long run is job after job after job. Like I was telling in the beginning of this story, is you want that guy to do the work because he understands why he's doing the work, not because code says you have to do it. You have to get your whole team on board to think, we do this for a reason. It's not busy work. We don't like busy work.
Right. And I would encourage to add on that, get the equipment. The first job that you complete, regardless of if you build it in or regardless of if the code office is going to ask for it, just do it for your culture, company, and building. It's take your lead installer, whoever the guy was that really put in the effort, bring them on the duct test, and either let them feel crushed or rewarded, because they'll feel crushed. Yeah.
And you're treating him to lunch that day.
Yeah, you are, and you need to make this day about him and about or her and what they achieved, where they struggled at, and what they could do to perform better. And you will get that employee a lot more interested. They'll be excited to do it, or not necessarily excited, but they will understand the reasonings why.
Yeah.
And especially if you go and test a home with duct leakage and you do a zonal pressure, whatever you do, if you find an opportunity for duct system optimization and you go in there, you won't you want to bring somebody with you and let them see why you're coming in, and then you want them to test that job, and then you want to congratulate them on what they did, because you're about to test out and you're going to show them how much of a difference they just made for that homeowner. If you want to get full-blown nerd about it, you can break down the energy savings and the latent reduction and all that.
All right, here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it on something pretty sweet. Steve's working on something. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, good.
That's it?
Pretty sweet. Well, all right, I'll just kind of let the cat out of the bag. So we're trying to run through the math to make sure it's just perfection, because we don't want to lead nobody astray. But Steve has a calculator that I'm going to put in that app that we created that's nearly done, that's going to calculate the loss in tonnage and calculate the load increase based on leakage.
Oh, nice.
That's cool, man.
Tell someone, hey, here's your impact to what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So just be another calculator that's
tonnage wise.
Kind of, now you have to put in a lot of input data. But
that's what sells those jobs, and that's what convinces others to do things. It's not the fact that you hit a target. It's look what we accomplished.
See what you got by hanging in past the hour. You got that.
Sorry, I talk a lot.
Dropped a little.
You're good.
Yeah.
All right.
By the way, Chris doesn't give me any inside information on nothing. This guy's sealed up like a freaking drum.
Yeah.
One time I had him on the phone. I was like, Chris, you know that new thing that your boss is working on, Steve?
I remember you told me about it, but I forgot. And
yeah, I was like, that new thing that he's working on, the airflow thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I didn't tell you about that. I was just like making it up. I was like, I knew something's coming out.
Well, there is new stuff to come, man. But
something's always coming out, right? So
yeah. All right, we're rolling. Thanks, Doug. Right. Good show, guys.
Thanks, brother.
Hope we encourage someone tonight.
Yeah.
I feel like
don't be scared.
Don't test your ducks.
Or as House would say, don't be up.
Don't be up.